What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well today. We are back on some MX bikes, as always, you know the drill by now. And we're going to be playing the MXGP of Sevlievo. It's the 2018 edition and created by Toxic Angelos. And I believe, I did do a quick check, I believe this is the first GP of the year that is not made by JV. So it's going to be a nice little switch up. I've played a couple of Toxic's tracks before, namely the 2020 MX of Nations track, Trentino, and then he also has a track that was on the store, which was the 2017 GP of Vaz Suzekot. Pronunciation is probably god-awful. So, we're in Bulgaria, we're at Sevlievo, and I mean, first of all, if I just stop here, look how pretty that looks. Nice and green, nice and bright, and this is a track that I've played before in other games, namely MX Simulator, but I've always seemed to have not the best of luck on. I don't know what it is, I always struggle to find some sort of a flow around there, but I'm feeling okay on the game recently. So I think the only reason that I should be really not doing okay in this video is because it's just raw first impressions. So the other day I mentioned that I'm trying to take my health like quite seriously, and that involves trying to get like 7, 8, 9 hours sleep a night too, and that I wasn't going to stay up and do NA anymore. Guess what I done that night? I stayed up and done NA, and that was in the GP of Spain. I don't know what it is about that track. I don't think everybody loves it, but for some reason I do. I don't know exactly. I have no clue why. The track just really suits me, and I thought, you know what, for the first time ever, I could kind of hold my own against the big boys. When I say big boys, I literally mean skills, because Hurls is still 2 seconds like faster than me. However, Hurls doesn't do NA, only skills does. So I signed up thinking maybe I can get my first legitimate win, and spoiler alert, I did. Skills didn't actually sign up for it, which I was quite surprised by, because I know he does seem to do most of the races, and I had probably one of the best and most consistently fast as well, not just getting around the track, races of my life. I won Moto 1 by a minute and lapped P3. The only person I didn't lap was P2, so that was a big dubski. And then in Moto 2 I won by about 40-ish seconds and lapped up to, I think, P6. So both motos went really well. And you know, every now and then when you just get into a little bit of a flow state in this game, like your mind's shut off, you're not really even thinking about what it is that you're doing in the game. You're just spinning laps, just like pounding lap after lap after lap. And that's just kind of how it went. It was just really good fun, and I wish I could ride like that all the time. My qualifying lap was a 1:32.8, which actually blows my mind because I didn't take any different lines from my qualifying in the EU series, and my fastest EU time was a low 36. So where I gain 3 and a bit seconds from, I have no idea, but I think it all comes to do with not overriding the track, trying to flow from corner to corner, and it's just a really good one. It's a very technical track, and I think maybe that's why it suits me a bit, is the tracks, let's say Kegums, for example, or Kegums, whichever your pronunciation is, it's wide open everywhere. Same as Sardinia, to be fair, like just as fast as you possibly can, and just hold R2, lean, and hold on for dear life. Spain's not quite so much like that. There's a little bit of like smooth throttle input needed, there's just some precision over braking bumps, just getting slotted into ruts correctly, and maybe that's why it suits me well. And from my little my enduro side of things, it's just a slower paced track, which I always like, and I feel like probably the reason I've done better in NA was because they don't like them tracks so much. I know the NA guys like it a little bit faster, more wide open, and the European guys are a bit more accustomed to the rough stuff. I mean, kind of the same as IRL, to be honest. I mean, the GPs are all usually rough as hell, and then the AMA tracks are a little bit more groomed, a little bit on the smoother side. I think that's a reason why when any Europeans do go over to the US, they do struggle quite a lot. It's just the pace of the racing that they're probably not used to. Whilst they're all fast riders in their own right, it's probably a massive difference, like how fast everything's coming at you when you're going back fast around the entire track, where it's just not as rough compared to the GPs. And I think it was Josh Gilbert from the UK. He done the last outdoor series. He actually done really well. He was in the 450, he scored some decent points, and that's exactly what he said. Is it takes quite a while for just your eyes and your brain to adjust to how fast the ruts and the bumps and corners in general are coming at you compared to normal. So there's a little bit of a nice comparison there. One thing that always does make me laugh is any time that a track does get particularly rough in the AMA series, the commentators will always say, "Oh, this will really suit the European boys." And it's like, well, you can't say that every single round when it gets rough. Otherwise, the entire series is just built for the European boys. So, I mean, pick a side. But I don't want to start any dramas there, any beef. I'm just an observation on my behalf. I could be very well wrong. I'm just one man. That is my simple observation, and that's it. And this track, honestly, so far, very difficult. For a little scrub like me, I imagine that once I get it dialed, and I'm not trying to talk at the same time, like I mentioned in yesterday's video, I imagine that my brain would be able to comprehend what bit of the track I'm on and can kind of pre-plan. But there's a lot of drop-offs here where they look very similar going into them, and it's not until you kind of get off the lip that you realise what part of the track you're on. So like, there's one that's a triple step down, there's one that's a double, there's one that I just hit there that is no jump at all. And I imagine that after a while, once you kind of learn it and learn your distances, boing. Please don't be stuck in the fence. Oh, thank God. That you'll be a-okay. And like I said, I always have. It's not even a love-hate relationship. It's just a hate relationship with this layout of track. Someone made it in Track Day R as well, and again, I didn't vibe with it too well around there. One thing that I have to give Toxic credit for is I think each track that he's released, the track has just got better and better. Not only from just... Why am I in fourth gear? Not only from the flow of the track standpoint, but the ruts flow a little bit nicer. I think the rough makes a bit more sense as well, and I think this is probably his best looking track so far too. I think unintentionally he's put himself into the same genre as JV, where JV's making all of these different GP tracks. So if you're going to release a GP track, you know it's got to be like good, high quality. And I think this one honestly is. I think it's a little bit on the smaller side in terms of scaling. I think the 450 round here really isn't necessary. I believe if I was to reload this on a 250, I'd probably have a hell of a lot more luck. I know that bike's a lot more stable through the bumps, especially when you're going up some of these hills as well, like this hill for example. If you don't hit this in a dead straight line with the perfect amount of leaning back on the bike to keep that front wheel kind of light but not too light so it doesn't get all kinds of out of shape, there's just very fine lines on a 450 when you have elevation in this game. And I do take my hat off to anybody that tries tackling these elevation tracks. I know that Endo, for example, who is like one of my favourite track creators, he was kind of that person that started the whole MX Simulator track conversion into bikes, and a lot of them tracks I do really enjoy. But then he's also kind of like the freeride guy. He makes such good freeride maps as well. He left the game for a while, mostly because he couldn't really make what he wanted to make because of the game's physics. And I've seen whispers of him in the community right now. He might be working on a little something that I can't disclose, so hopefully I've not said too much just by saying that. But yeah, the terrain and steep terrain in this game is a bit of a tough one. So I think that this has probably taken Toxic a hell of a lot of testing, a hell of a lot of just slight tweaking, because I think even just a degree too much in terms of how steep a hill is will mean either you get up it absolutely fine or you start wobbling and fishtailing all over the place. And I think I've only had one instance of that so far, which is one of the hills way over there in the distance. And looking over at them hills, it looks great. It is super, super pretty, and I am a bit of a sucker for aesthetics in this game. You could have the most basic of track layouts in the world. You could probably do a figure of 8, and if it's a really, really good looking figure of 8, I could spend an easy half an hour just putting in lap after lap after lap. So I'm quite easily pleased, and I think that is always one of my like picky points when I do review these tracks is looks, because it has to be enjoyable to look at as well as to play, if that makes sense. I don't want to spend hours and hours, like, even if a track feels amazing, I don't want to spend hours and hours looking at something that is not exactly pretty to look at. I mean, it's like when you're choosing your partner, let's say. That's probably a rocky road to go down for some of you boys. If you look at your partner right now, is that someone that you want to be looking at all the time? If the answer's no, you probably shouldn't be with them in the nicest way possible. If the answer is yes, then you've chosen the right one. Hats off to you, King. Well done. I feel like I might have triggered a few people there, but hopefully not. I mean, I am very, very happy staring at mine all day, every day. Little bit of a simp, but that's for another time. And this is one of them. This is a very, very good-looking track. It's a very pretty track. And even if I'm kind of struggling to get around it at the moment, because I know my brain's kind of split in two at the moment, trying to talk and trying to play, it's one that I don't mind putting the laps in to get better at. So, I mean, big W to Toxic. So it's nice seeing some old... wait, is that Oh, that's FP crew. I thought that just said F crew. That reminds me, maybe it's the same thing, I don't know, but I remember back in my sim days, the F crew was quite a big team on sim, full of the French guys. Don't know if that's the same thing, just slightly renamed, or if that's completely different, and I am an absolute fool. An idiot. I don't know my teams. We got Grand Prix, Bulgaria, Sevlievo, the best motocross track in the world. Oh, that's a old claim. That's probably there in real life, but old claim from the track owners there. Don't know about that. Got some Poboso signs, some MXB mod signs, Toxic, MX Bike GP. That's a little bit different. Don't think I've seen that one. I think that's kind of what you get. To be honest, it does give me GP vibes. I think he's done very, very well with. Well, not only the on-track stuff, but the off-track too. There's a good amount of models. We've got obviously the whole shot line there, which is really, really, really nice. And I don't think he's... What I like about this is there's a little bit of freedom in terms of the off-track. It's not like you're going to get a bit sketchy, go off-track, and just get absolutely destroyed by some collision banners. He's put them in the right place, you know, at the bottom of that hill over there, the one that I've hit twice already. So if you do get a bit sketchy, it's not like you end up crossing across different lanes of the track and like punting somebody by mistake. Like I got absolutely destroyed in the EU race in Spain. Someone just made a mistake and bike went flipping across and landed right in front of me. So it gave everyone an opportunity to use the old bike magnet emoji that I've got in my chat now. I don't know what it is. Every single race I do, I seem to just attract at least one or two bikes that just go flying across the track into me. Even if it looks like it's going one way. So if I'm coming into this corner, there's a bike bouncing from the left side over to the right. I'll go, oh, okay, it's bouncing, I'll go past it, and it'll just stop. Stop right where I go. Or vice versa, I'll go further to the right, and it'll somehow manage to like bounce all the way over there. I don't have much luck when it comes to weird crashes like that. But those are the ones that I can't blame anyone for. It's just the game, and it is what it is. The ones that I really get annoyed on is just the maybe the low IQ moments or the lack of awareness moments going into some corners. I think since I moved up to the 450s in outdoors, which I'm probably going to do for the rest of the season now, for anyone that's wondering, because I've actually been really, really enjoying it. I think that the general awareness is quite good, especially the lappers. The lappers that I've had at both Sardinia and in Spain were insane. I don't think there was one lapper that really caused me any grief in either moto of the GPs, and that is a rare thing to say. That's a very, very rare occasion. If you are someone that's a little bit newer to the game, I've seen a bunch of people joining my Discord recently that are like brand new that have downloaded the game because of these videos. One of the biggest things that I can advise you to do in terms of awareness is download Max HUD, which is all the information that you see around the screen in front of you right now. So we've got the map at the top, we've got the times on the top left, speed at the bottom. The map I really like, because if I say I crash in this corner right here, for example, say I'm off the side of the track, I'll have a look at the map of that top left or top right, and if there is somebody, if I like look like that and look like that and I can't see because there's a blind spot there on a jump, I'll quickly have a look at the map as I'm putting on as well, and if I see a dot, then I know someone's coming. Yeah, looking behind, looking side to side, getting all them buttons binded on your controller are just absolutely huge. You'll save yourself a lot of crashes as well as other people, and nobody likes being crashed into by someone rejoining the track with a poor track re-entry, so you'll be in everyone's good books as well if you enter the track safely. Like I said, you'll save yourself crashes too, especially in Supercross. If I'm jumping into a corner and somebody's beside me, I will always have a little quick glance over or a little glance behind just to see how far inside or how close to me they are. Because it's very, very easy just to check up and let them dive up and then cut back down in the corner, and you both survive, rather than them bumping into you. Maybe they're going for a little bit too aggressive of a pass, and you have to kind of be the smarter person in that situation. Just check up, let them by, and then either they make a mistake or you get them back a couple of corners later. There's nothing wrong with conceding a position for a couple of corners or even a couple of laps if it means a better position overall. But yeah, I think I've kind of waffled on enough there. Apologies that it's just me today. This is like a super late recording for me. I felt very, very sluggish today. I don't know what it is. Maybe I've just been like going at it too hard and not having enough rest days at the gym. But I've slept majority of today. So hopefully tomorrow will be a bit more revitalised. Hopefully the video that I bring you can include a couple of people in it as well, not just me in testing. So I do apologise for that. I hope all is forgiven. That's going to do it for me today. Toxic, I think you've done a great job on this track. It's never, ever been one of my favourite layouts in the world. So please don't think that I'm hating on it by any means. In terms of visuals and terrain and stuff, you've done a great job. And I would say maybe it's just how it is IRL. It's never a track that I've actually watched personally. I'm not big on the GPs these days, and I don't even think it's in this year's calendar. But it does feel slightly underscaled. Maybe a 250 or a 125 would be the best bike to get around here if you're watching this and want to give it a go yourself. Link will be down in the description, as always, if you want to go and download it. And I'm going to love you and leave you. Have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.